Hello guys, it's Mikhail. So today I'm gonna make my first tutorial for YouTube channel. So this time I'm gonna shed some lights on X particles simulation. Especially I'd like to share with you technique how to create something like, I don't know, fabric patterns, maybe, maybe leather patterns, absolutely procedurally. I hope you're interested in these topics, so let's get started. Okay, we in Cinema 4D, I use the latest release of X particles. And doesn't matter what release do you use. I think if you use release 4, it's okay. So let's first of all create a simple sphere. Press NB in order to see polygons. Go to the type and change to icosahedron. Okay, so this count of segments we need, I think, maybe. Let's start from 128. Okay, so and let's create X particles. Let's create XP dynamic stack in new version of X particles. As I said, I use latest release. It's in Insidium text. Go to the text and choose XP dynamics. In XP dynamics, let's make rigidity by, I think, by 10. Rigidity, it's a parameter who creates something like clauses, because if we have a high amount percent of rigidity, it looks like a rigid body dynamics. If we have less, for example 0 or 1, we can create something like clauses. Okay, let's create it by 10. Go to the constraints and activate structural constraints. Structural constraints helps us to interact each particles with each other. By default, we don't see any particles in the viewport. In order to fix it, go to the dynamics text, go to the text, and just press this simple button, add emitter. We immediately get an emitter in our viewport, which can represent our particles by, for example, circles on points. It's up to you guys. So in order to good represent it, go to the XP emitter, go to the display tab and change editor display from squares to circle. Let's play. As you see, we immediately get particles. But if we take a look closer, we see our particles intersect. It's not good for our upcoming simulation, because we try to create something like inflation clauses, inflation ball, So for that, go to the dynamics tab and change this radius by 2 maybe. Yes, let's refresh. Yeah, not bad. Also, we can use adaptive radius, which automatically match our radius for our polygons. Let's take a look again. Yeah, not bad. Maybe 2.2. Sometimes it works not correctly. Yeah, I think that's okay for the beginning. So we have a simple sphere, but we don't have any animation in our viewport. That's because we don't have any velocity viewport, because we just create simple static object with particles dynamics. So let's move forward. Let's go to the Insidium text. If you use older version X particles, X particles, Insidium tab, go to the X particles, go to the modifiers, and choose not a control, motion modifier, push apart. Push apart, it's a good modifier which creates something like fake dynamic. Push apart try to push particles from each other. By default it uses distance mode and distance equals 10. But in our case we should change it to use particle radius in order to each particles push from each other by actual radius. In our case it's 2.2, maybe just 2. Doesn't matter in this case. So let's play. Something happening, yeah. Let's hide emitter for now. Take a look. Yeah, as you see, some particles try to avoid each other, so but it still not looks like a dynamic object, because we still don't have any velocity. To create some velocity, we can use, for example, X particles, modifiers, motion, simple turbulence. Let's make strength by 10, for example, play, and we immediately get this one really nice wrinkles here. So let's a bit increase timeline frames. Yeah, looks nice. Yeah, let's press NA. Yeah, not bad. So if you want to inflate your object, there are several methods. We can use just a pressure tab, for example, make it by 20, and we immediately inflate this object, and create something like, I don't know, drop, maybe a water drop. Yeah, in some cases it's very helpful. But let's revert to the 0 in original one. We want to inflate in some areas. Of course, we can make editable our sphere and create some animated, for example, vertex map and contrast by fields. If you're interested in topics such this, you can check my Patreon page. But this time I'm gonna share with you a really interesting technique. I ran into on this and was surprised how we can control it. It's very simple, guys, So to continue, let's duplicate the sphere. Okay, delete this tag. Let's call it inflate, and other one call maybe restrict. I don't know, restrict. Okay, so we have other one sphere here, and I want to slice this to different part. I prefer use mogrph Voronoi fracture. If we placed our new restrict here, we immediately get these slices. If we go to the Voronoi fracture, go to the object tab, we can deactivate colorized fragments. It's not necessary for this time. Also, we can create offset fragments. For example, let's make it 0.6. Yeah, as you see, we have offset fragments for our fracture object. But if we activate this invert button, we immediately get this result. Looks nice, but we need other one mesh. To fix it, let's activate hole only, and we immediately get this interesting shape. So if we right now activate our inflate sphere, we see our inflate sphere and restrict sphere intersecting. That's not good for simulation, so for that we need a bit increased radius for restrict sphere. Let's increase it by maybe 105 centimeters. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, looks nice for me. Other one thing, we should go to the Voronoi fracture and increase thickness. I think 1 is enough in our case. So and if we play right now, nothing much happening. That because we don't have any collider tag over our Voronoi fracture. So let's right click, go to the Insidium tags and activate and choose XP collider. I think in this case we should choose normal from outside to any, just to avoid some intersections. And let's play again. As you see, our animated mesh tried to collide on this, but it's still intersecting. That because by default X particles hasn't enough subframe steps and iterations. To fix it, press Ctrl D, go to the X particle step, and increase subframe step, in our case by 3, and maybe iterations by, I don't know, by 6. Let's take a look. Yeah, very slow. Yeah, maybe for tutorial just a 3 by 3. Yeah, not bad, not bad. So, in order to continue and inflate our object, we should go to the dynamics tag, go to the pressure, and for example, let's make a frame here. And 20 frame, let's make it by 20. Let's for now deactivate turbulence, because we use it just to represent our animation object, you know. We can adjust it a bit later. Let's play again. As you see, we inflate our object, but still have some intersection here. Let's activate our X particles to represent it. I think that because we have some space between our particles. Let's go to the dynamics tag. Go to the radius, increase radius by 3 maybe, and deactivate this adaptive radius checkbox. I prefer control it by hands in order to understand how closer to each other are my particles. Let's play again. Still intersecting. So I think we should increase our subframe steps maybe by 4. Let's take a look again. Still have some problem in this area. Let me check, please. Okay, I think 3 is pretty much for in our case. Maybe 2.5. Okay, so in order to control our particle radius, we can use other one, X Particles Modifiers. Let's go to the X Particles Modifiers, Control Modifiers, and choose XP Scale. By default, it's a parameter to change particle radius, so that's exactly what we want, and operation change value over time, absolute. But I want to use spline in order to create a curve how my particle radius will change, you know. So let's make by in the beginning something like that, maybe by 0, and in the end something like that, and change maximal scale by let's 2.5. yeah, 2.5. Click on this little arrow and adjust with our spline. Let's take a look again. Not so good, maybe from 1. Okay, yeah, still intersecting. Let's try to increase iterations by 4. I don't know why we have problem in this area. It's really tricky, guys, you know. Yeah. So let's try to increase segments for our restrictions. For our restrictions for our inflate sphere. Maybe 196. Okay, let me check. And of course we should decrease final particle radius, but let's check before. I don't know why we still have intersection here. Yeah, sometimes X particles, it's pretty tricky and hard to control, you know, guys, because it's not so stable. Let me check again, please. Okay, let's make it maybe 3 by 6. Okay, I have one trick to avoid this. If we go to the X Particles Collider tag, we can change friction by, for example, 50, and activate this little checkbox, connect on collision. What does it mean? It means when our particle collides on this object, it's connected with this object, you know. Let's take a look again. Yeah, not bad. Still intersect. I don't know why, guys. Yeah. Maybe 3 by 3 again. I think it's not a problem, yeah. Maybe very high inflated. Let's go to the X particles dynamic stack and change rigidity to 20, for example. Let's take a look again. I think I know, we should place this Werner fracture to connect object. Yeah, I forgot this, sorry guys, I forgot. Let's add connect object, place our Werner fracture under connect, disconnect this, uncheck this weld, and placed our XP collider tag here. Let's take a look again, should works. Let me check, deactivate our, looks like it's work, yeah. So let me check, okay, maybe big particle radius. Let's go to the XP scale, go to the max scale, let's make it by 2. You know, let's revert to 2.5, it's not a problem, and revert our inflate segments by 128. So let's take a look again. Yeah, looks nice. Okay, yeah, looks nice. Maybe a bit adjust rigidity by 10. You know, it's always interesting result. Yeah, as you see, we got something like that. But our particles try to continue to flipping, you know, continue moving. I prefer add always X particles dynamics constraint. In constraint I use the frictions to create constraints between particles and make it more stable, no flickering, no bouncing, you know. So let's play again. Yep, looks nice. So this is a general technique, you know, but what if we want to change the pattern, you know. So right now it looks like this, yeah. Let's create maybe two standard materials, just more organized our scene. For example, make it, I don't know, maybe just a yellow, yeah, in order to see it. Okay, so let's take a look again. Yeah, really nice, inflated, yeah. If you want to inflate more, just go to make sure what you go to the basic tab on XP Dynamics, deactivate it in order to change it. Go to the inflated final frame, go to the XP Dynamic text again and increase by I don't know, 40, 30, I don't know, it's up to you. So let's continue with it. Go to the dynamics tag, go to the basics, activate our dynamics. So let's take a look. Yeah, looks nice. Some intersection here, but I think it depends on our count of our particles and our subframe steps, maybe an iteration, maybe change it by 5. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's pretty tricky, guys, to control X particles. Anyway, it's just to control, just to fix this setup. If you want to create a pretty stable setup, you should play with this parameter and this parameter. Also play with maybe XP constraints and XP dynamic stack. But I want to share with you another one interesting thing. So as we use the Voronoi fracture as a restriction object for our inflated sphere, we can control it inside source. For example, if we go to the source and play with it, make points amount by 10, for example, we immediately get another one result. As you see, something like that. Looks pretty nice. Yeah, we have some bugs here, but it depends on several things, you know, in simulation with these particles. Yeah, maybe we should check again count of our particles. Yeah, maybe. Let me check again. Yeah, I think we can choose this parameter, use a spline. Yeah, much stable. Yeah. So what next? What if you want to have another method to slice our restriction object? Let's go to the mogrph and create matrix object. Let's make it 1 by 1 by 1 and create maybe 4 here, 50, maybe 100. Okay, we can use our matrix object as a source to fracture our restriction object. Let's place it here and deactivate original point generator. As you see, we immediately get this interesting thing. Maybe a bit readjust our size, maybe something like that, maybe 50. Okay, and increase here, for example. Let's take a look. Yeah, as you see, we got another one really nice result. Yeah, so guys, it's very great technique to control your inflation object to create something. For example, you know, maybe activate connect on collision in our dynamics in our collider tag again to fixed intersections. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, if you want to, you can rotate your matrix object, something like that. You can adjust count of matrices, you know, create something like that, you know. So it's very good. I think you got an idea. Make your experiments, R&D, share via Instagram, tag me and subscribe on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna to share more free tutorials for my community. So if you're interested in, you can check my Patreon page. There are a lot of interesting tutorials, especially about X particles, Cinema 4D dynamics, Cinema 4D fields, how to control it, how to combine it to create really neat result. So I hope you like it, guys. Leave a comments. See you next time. Bye bye.